Hello, my loves. Your favorite fabulous fairy here, and I was recently asked if I could do a video on spotting real crystals versus fake crystals, and I thought, yeah, I'll try to do that. And looks like I've got a lot to talk about, so I'm going to try to keep it nice and concise for you. First of all, what's the easiest way to spot a real crystal versus a fake crystal? Well, simple enough. You can take the crystal and put it to your cheek. A real crystal will be ice cold. I'm talking ice cold. If it's glass, it'll be cold, but it won't be ice cold. If it is plastic, it'll almost be warm. Like you won't even be able to feel the difference. So checking the temperature of your crystal by touching it to your face, because your face is more sensitive, is a super, super easy way to check, is this going to even be a real crystal or not? Next, you're going to want to check the weight. What's the weight of it? If it's a small crystal, it should still feel like it's got a decent amount of weight in it. These are stones. They came from the earth. They have some girth to them. If it's nice and light and it looks like it's way too light for the size of the stone, then you're most likely dealing with a hunk of plastic. Now, amethysts are a beautiful stone. Everybody knows an amethyst. These are really common, but often people also will dye these. They'll treat them, they sometimes will heat treat them, or they'll even just straight color treat them to make them a darker color. So that's not really changing the quality of the amethyst as far as what it can do for you physically, but it is changing the quality of what it looks like. So when you're looking at your amethyst and you're saying, okay, is this a real one or not? A normal real amethyst is going to have a variant in color. Now it's true, the darker the color of the crystal, such as the amethyst in my ring, is a higher quality of amethyst. Now if a amethyst was to be faked or whatever, it would be in a piece of jewelry because people would want that really bright color. Does that mean that every dark piece of amethyst in jewelry is fake? Heck no, it does not. A lot of times they're real, but again, they're going to be more expensive because you're getting that dark, rich color. So you're going to look at your amethyst again, and this one is a raw chunk, and it's still on the rock that came from. You'll notice there's lots of different color variants in there. This is not a one-trick pony. It has a lot going on to it. This is a real amethyst. And now you could get a quartz crystal that has been dyed purple, but amethysts are so relatively available that most people, they're not going to do that. Here's an example of an amethyst bracelet. Now, again, this is real. This is nice and cold. This is super heavy. You can see that this is like a chevron amethyst, so it's got all the different white bands and almost gray colors in there, almost yellow color. Now, amethyst and citrine grow together. So if you come across a amethyst that has a little bit of a yellow in it, that's citrine. That is definitely a real stone. Now, citrine, unfortunately, is one that is faked a lot. And I do have a piece of fake citrine right here. So that is my chunk of fake citrine. And it took me a long time to even realize it was fake citrine. So citrine, this is a real chunk of amethyst, right? Citrine and amethyst, the difference between them is the heat and the pressure, right? If you heat treat a amethyst, you can get it to go yellow. And a lot of times when you come up with this really bright yellow color, it's kind of like a pea color, a honey color, whatever, this is going to be a fake citrine. It was most likely an amethyst stone that has been heat treated to take on the color properties of citrine. Does that mean it's not still a real stone? No, it's still a real stone. Does it still have any properties? Yes, it has properties, but it's not exactly citrine. The citrine that you're looking for, I actually don't have a chunk, but it is like a very light yellow, almost smoky greenish gray color. Maybe I'll put a picture in. So just keep a lookout for that. Let me see, what else do I got on here? I've got a chunk of hematite right here, and this is non-magnetic hematite. Hematite has a lot of really good properties for protection and things like that, but people don't understand that there's several different types of hematite. There is a magnetic hematite, which is man-made, okay? And then there is a non-magnetic hematite, and I actually had found this chunk on my own. So there you go on that. Notice how this has cracks and crevices in it. This is unpolished, I don't know if it's unpolished, but it's got the cracks and crevices, it's been tumbled a little bit, but it's not man-made tumbled. Whereas these, excuse that I've got sand on them, it's magnetic sand. These, they're perfect. There's nothing on them other than the little sand I have stuck to there. They're perfectly flat. They've got a mirror surface going on there. I really should clean these little guys. I had them on my altar. But anyway, so yeah, you feed your hematite with magnetic sand. That's the magnetic sand on there. Anyways, are they chemically the same? Yes, chemically these are the same. This has just gone through a treatment to make it magnetic. But can you get the same properties from them? Yes, you can. Is one man-made and one's not? yeah, so if that matters to you, just keep that in mind. Okay, so let's see. So real citrine also has no root to it. So an amethyst, let me see if I've got this big spear of amethyst. Okay, see how it has like a root to it, and the color goes white at the end, and then the concentration of color is up here at the top. So, I know I've got my purple light, so it's hard to see, but the concentration of color is up at the top, and then it gets kind of more grayish colored as you go down, and then it goes into white. This is a true chunk of amethyst. If this had been changed into a chunk of citrine and it had been heat treated, you would know it was heat treated because all of the concentration of color would still be up here at the top, and it would have this white root at the bottom. True citrine does not have any sort of color variant through it. It would be the same color throughout the entire thing. It would look more like a really evenly toned smoky quartz with a tint of yellow to it, if that makes sense. Okay, so malachite, I don't have any malachite to show you, but malachite is that green stone. I'll pick a picture up. It's that green stone. It amplifies your emotions, which is why I don't keep it on me, but a lot of people are faking malachite. A really easy way to see if it's fake malachite is, does it have a black band in it? True malachite does not have black in it. It has every variant of green that you could think of, from as light pale green as you can think to as dark pale green as you can think, but it doesn't, or dark pale, for as deep dark green as you can think, but it never goes into black. So if you're looking at your malachite and you're seeing that there's the color black in there, that is a fake piece of malachite, unfortunately. Another thing is the color patterns and the swirls. It'll be a very organic, mini ripples, almost looking like water dropping on top of a cut down tree or a fallen tree with all the different rings in it. If it is a fake piece of malachite, it's going to be a very stacked and centered little circle dots placed on top of each other. It's going to look really, really calculated, and it's typically going to be about 2 or 3 colors in it. There might be a light green, a dark green, and a medium green, but that's about it, and then with the black. So look out for that. Turquoise is super freaking expensive, and there's only 3% of real turquoise out and about in the world that is actual real turquoise that people actually own in private collections. The rest of it is fake. A lot of times it's howlite that's been dyed, or it's other stones that have been put together and dyed, or it's plastics. Now, this is a really convincing piece of turquoise that's fake, because you can see it's got like the inclusions and stuff are different shapes and sizes. Some are long, some are thin. They tried really hard to make this look like turquoise. But the problem is all the color is 100% uniform. They're all the exact same color. So even if the lines and cracks look decent, the color is 100% uniform, and you're not going to find that in true turquoise. True turquoise is going to have variance. It's going to have lighter and darker and different shades. It's going to be a lot like malachite, where there's just so many different shades going in. So when you're looking at your turquoise, if it's pretty cheap and inexpensive, good on you that it's probably not real. And then also look at the lines and the fractures in it. If they're all like really thin or really thick and they're all uniform, probably not. If there's little speckles or spots like that one had where it looks like paint, it's probably paint. Okay, so there's that. Now let's see. Quartz, as in quartz crystals, isn't going to have bubbles. It'll have these lines and these fractures and things through it, but it's not going to have a bubble. Now, it could have a bubble of like actual, see, that's like a cut inside of it. It could have a bubble of water inside of it, but that would be like a bubble of water, and that would be very expensive to obtain. Here's another piece of real quartz. So it's, you know, it's clear in some areas. It's a little bit foggy in others. It's got some little imperfections, but there's no circle bubbles. There's no tiny little, you know what I mean? You can really look at it and see, okay, yeah, everything in here, those are natural. This isn't a chunk of glass that has been formed to look like a quartz. And another reason I know for a fact is I have dropped both of these many times, and the only thing that has happened is I got a little chunk off that one little corner over here, and this little bite taken out right there. And if you'll notice, it chips. So if this was a piece of glass, it would shatter. It would not chip. It would shatter into a million pieces. I'm going to show you guys some smoky quartz real quick. Another type of quartz. So all quartz is going to work the same. If you see a bubble or an air bubble, it's going to be fake. This is, sorry, I'm trying to get the thing on there. This is a somewhat dirty, because it has, I have all these on my altar, but a very nice specimen of a real piece of smoky quartz. Okay, You're not going to find any air bubbles in them. You might find some like inclusions and some fractures and things like that. You'll notice that the color is not the same from tip to tip. It's lighter here. It kind of gets darker over here. It's not uniform in color. Here is my most expensive. Let me polish this one up. One of my most expensive pieces that I have. And this is a really nice smoky quartz. So again, this is a smoky quartz. This is real. It's got a root to it. It's got variant in color. You can see the gradient lines from where they cut it, but you can see that there's things going on inside of it. It's not one solid color. You see this? Okay. So that's real. If you're finding a smoky quartz and it's all the same color, it's not a real smoky quartz. That is a piece of glass or a man-made something for you. Here is a piece that was sold as jade, but you can tell that they have color dyed it. The colors aren't, I'm trying to let you guys zoom in and see, but the colors are not perfect throughout there. And there's like little dots, like right there. Can you see that blue dot? It's a little piece of dye that didn't get mixed in very well. So this is sold as jade. This is not jade. This is something, you know what I mean? I don't know if this was quartz first or if this was whatever, but the people who sold this were not selling, they were selling a real stone. It's really a stone, but is it the stone that I was trying to get? Heck no. Here we have a piece of labradorite. You'll notice that the labradorite is not uniform. Again, it's super cold. It's got little flashes of the color here and there. Okay, this is real. Let's see. Rose quartz is the same as clear quartz in that you're going to want to look for. A raw chunk is going to be more likely to be real than a piece of jewelry. A piece of jewelry is probably going to be really, really bright pink or really dark pink. And that's probably because they've either treated it or they've color dyed it to try to make it a little bit more fashionable. But this is beautiful examples of chunks of actual natural raw quartz. They're heavy. They're very, very, very ice cold to the touch. And then, you know, they're absolutely beautiful. There's no air bubbles in them. The color on this is completely, pretty much uniform, you know what I mean? There's little variants here and there, but for the most part, rose quartz is, you know, it's got white here and there, but for the most part, it's, you know, the same kind of tone, but you can see the depth in it. You know, you can see that there's like more going on in certain places. These are true stones. Okay, this was sold as moonstone. And I don't think it is moonstone. I think this and this that was also still sold as moonstone. I do not think that those are those. I think that they are. Oh my goodness. Not silicone carbide. Opalite. So opalite is still good for your third eye. It's still going to help you. But is this a real piece of opal? No, this is opalite. You can kind of tell because it's got that really uniform tone to it. I bought this in a set that had it was 30 of these, and they all looked exactly the same. Okay, you can tell it looks exactly like this. It's easy to carve. Now, does opalite, even though it's man-made, have any physical properties? Yeah, it does. It still can be good for you. So just because it's man-made doesn't mean that it isn't good for you. It just means that it's something to look out for. This is a piece of agate that is natural. You can see all the different colors, the different divisions, how it breaks off. It breaks off into chunks. This is going to blow your guys' minds. You guys think that this is selenite, don't you? And I bet if I showed you this, and I've even called this selenite, you're going to think this is selenite, aren't you? But this is not. This is actually gypsum. So gypsum, like what we make, like what we make our concrete out of, this is the same kind of thing, but it's in the gypsum family. So this is actually called satin spar. Satin spar is basically what you're going to see in those towers. You're going to see it in rods like this. True selenite crystal almost nobody has it. It looks like a sheet of glass. It looks like if you took a ice cube and you cut a sheet of an ice cube off, and it's almost 100% see-through with little itty bitty tiny bits of this in it. Now, does that mean that this isn't good? No, this is still a good stone. It's just that people are selling this as selenite, when selenite crystal is so freaking rare. You're not going to find selenite almost anywhere. So what you're looking at right here is satin spar. Desert rose is also in the same family. So all these are going to have those healing properties. They're going to have those properties of like clearing and removing. They're going to have those angel properties to them. Does that mean that that's not a good stone? No, it's great stone. Just know that it's not being sold as what it really is. They don't call it they don't call it satin spar. They call it selenite. Now, is it selenite? No, it's not. But almost nobody owns selenite. Moldavite, I talked about that. For even a small little tiny piece, it's very, very expensive. It does have bubbles in it, but its bubbles are elongated and obtuse and very not uniform, and it's very rough, and it has dark spots in it and light spots in it. It only comes in green. If you're getting it in any other color, you didn't get the right piece. I'm trying to go quick because I only have a limited amount of time on here. Oh, here is a piece of quartz that had been dyed that hot pink. So again, that hot pink is to try to entice you to be like, oh, okay, it's a better piece. Is there anything wrong with this stone? No, it's still a good stone. It's been known to help with your happiness and all this and that. There's good things that can happen with dyed stones as well. Just realize it's not exactly, this isn't how it was made. And if you guys want me to slow down and go in more depth, I will do that for you. Just tell me what you want me to talk about, because right now I need to clean out my videos because I only have 2 more minutes left and then I'm going to run out of video time. So that's what's going on with my speediness. Here's a piece of real tiger's eye. You can notice that it's real because it's got the different colors going on in it. The bands and stripes are all solid, going in the same direction. It catches the light and then holds the light in the different pieces. Now, cat's eye, I don't have a picture of cat's eye, but cat's eye is close to tiger's eye, but the color would go all the way across. It would, like, from one end of the bear to the other, it would follow without ever breaking that little light pattern. So if you were to turn this and that little ring of light went from one side to the other, then that's going to be cat's eye, and that's a man-made thing right there. I don't know, I ran out of time, you guys. I hope this helped. I hope this was a thing. I will go in more detail and more depth later. This was an impromptu video, so I hope I did good for that. But basically, is it heavy? Is it too cheap for the type of stone it is? Is it ice cold? I'm not talking kind of cold. I'm talking like ice cold frigid. Is it heavy for its size? Even this is very heavy for its size. Even this is very heavy for its size. So if your stone is nice and light, like this is a piece of stone that's been dyed. Is it real stone? Yes, but is it really jade? I don't think so. It could have been jade and maybe they dyed it a different color, but this is definitely not a natural jade roller. It's a natural stone possibly, but it's not a natural jade. Alrighty then. That was me on turbo mode. Like, share, subscribe. Love you all. Follow me on Instagram. Instagram's where I'm at all the time. The Fairy Shayna. I'm coming out with my new tea thing, Elite Elixir. Okay, so keep a lookout on that. And DM me. Let me know if you guys need anything. I'm open for readings. I am open for consultation. I love you. Have a good day. Bye.